I basically had a theater background from middle school and high school and college, but didn't really have a reel or anything. So I did like a lot of student films, short films, stuff like that to build experience and to gather a reel. And that took, well, I started around like when COVID first started. So that was really the only option because, like there weren't any theatrical projects casting at the time. And after getting like a reel, I started using that to audition for, film and TV roles. And this was one of the projects I booked like around this time last year, like a year ago, during COVID. And the whole process was like through Zoom. Yeah, it wasn't until like I got booked and showed up to rehearsals that I actually got to meet everyone.
So how did you put your reel together?
I before I had a reel, I just like did this monologue from I think it was like Spider-Man, one of the Spider-Man movies, and I just did like
Mm.
Parker monologue, and that was more like my type. I play a lot of like the moody, depressed Asian boys, and a lot of the short films and student films I did, I played like teenage roles, angsty boy roles, and stuff like that. And then from that, I built like a reel of English speaking and Chinese speaking parts to like it was about a minute to 2 minutes long, and that took about like a year and a half to fully build that. And then through that, like I was able to submit to other projects.
How was the actual filming? When was it filmed and how'd it go?
So it was filmed in October of 2011, and it was for like a few days, like 2 or 3 days of shooting. For a big budget show like this, they have like a lot of moving parts. You have to show up for rehearsals. You have to show up for like fittings and all that other different stuff. And then on the day of, they have like a lot of extras. So there's like a lot of coordination, and you don't really get to meet everyone or talk to everyone, but you basically talk to the director and your co-stars and the cinematographer, and like just there's too much for you to like process at the time. But I remember like just the first day of shooting, we shot at Grand Park, which was in downtown Los Angeles, and they shut down the whole park. They put in like 100 to 200 extras that day for like to fill up the park with activity and all kinds of people. Normally when you shoot like a student film, short film, even a commercial, you have like one or two like RE cameras, which are like RE Alexas, and these cameras go for like 100,000 each at least, not counting the lens. And most productions can like afford to have one or two, but like usually with like for this project, there was like a much bigger production. So I looked up and I just remember seeing like 5 cameras at any given time, like pointed directly at your face. So it moves much faster. They only do like 1 to 3 takes of each scene. There's not really room for you to like over and over and over again on one scene because there's just so many people that are there. So that's why like I was lucky to have rehearsals beforehand with the other people in the scenes so we can get the scenes down, and like on the actual shooting day it was just like really fast. That way they can like spend most of the time setting up the different shots that they were going to do that day.
What's the overall experience from like audition process to the production?
When I auditioned for the role, my character was more, I play like a 15-year-old boy in this in the show. So I'm 24. So I thought it was like a bit of a stretch to play someone who was 15, but because like I'm 6'1" as well, so I don't know any like 15-year-old 6'1" people. And when I showed up on set, it was like everyone actually thought I was 15, and it doesn't like the director was like 6'8", so he was massive, and next to him I actually felt 15. But um, I think when I audition for the role, it was much more emotional. Like I brought a much more like I was crying for the audition and stuff like that. And when we actually like rehearsed, it was a lot like that as well. And also my role is the younger version of a lead this season. He's like an Asian actor. His name's Daniel Wu, and he's like um, much more understated. Like he's very subtle as an actor. And the director called me and said when I worked with him on his scenes, I noticed he was very like reserved. He wasn't showing much of his emotions, and it was a very Asian thing, like because as Asians we don't really show our emotions as vividly as like other Americans. I took that in, so that was much more natural for me to do. So we changed the whole thing completely.
How did this role like make you feel like as an Asian actor starting out in the industry?
But I think like it's a great time to be an Asian actor. I think validated for me that we don't have to like just conform too much to change ourselves to be actors in the US as much. Because I remember when I first took an acting class in the US, like I was doing a scene with a partner, and the scene I was supposed to be angry at, the other character was my mom. And she was like, what would you do if you were actually angry at your mom? You know, like yell at her, be mad at her. And I just remember thinking to myself, like, if I yelled at my mom, that like she would like probably beat my ass, you know, like that was not very Asian thing to do. So after that, I just thought, oh, okay, to be an actor in the US, I kind of have to like wear my heart on my sleeve, be more emotional, be more like that. And I think this role like helped me like be more comfortable that, oh, I can be closer to my roots and act like how I would act in the US.